Obviously many problems around us in Nigeria and in Africa. I'll speak to 4 key of these problems that we see that exist in our society. The first one is payments. If you look at payments, it's very fractured, it's not homogeneous, it's not consistent. And what I mean by that is, if you have a bank account, it's very difficult for you to transfer funds to somebody who doesn't have a bank account. So it therefore means that if you don't have a bank account, it's sort of excluded from the financial digital economy. And that's a big problem. So that's the problem. How do we solve that? How do we ensure that every human being can participate in the digital economy? The second issue is data. There is lack of insight and lack of data into many of the things that happen in Nigeria and in Africa, as an example. There are so many things that, with technology, we could sort of like figure out and provide insights, meaningful insights to some of these things. And so how do we gather all of this data into some sort of central database? That's still a very, very big problem. A third problem that we see is identity. There are millions and millions and millions of people who are not identified. How can we identify them? How can we give them an identity? If you look at the BVN records, if you look at the NIN records, you see that there's still many people who are excluded, who don't have some form of identification. And then the final problem is education. Poor education leads to unemployment. People who don't have employable skills. So if you look at it, there are millions and millions of kids who are not in school. They don't have any form of formal education. They don't have access to maybe the internet or to some, maybe a laptop or a tablet that can grant them access to the internet, and so that they can also, if they can't get into school, at least they can have some form of learning. We need to think about where the puck is going, not where it has been. And what that means is this: we really literally think about where the future is. We look at all the existing technology that currently exists, and we look for ways we can deploy them to solve many of these big problems. If you think about payments, and you think about the amount of technology we have right now, you realize that many individuals have mobile phones. And that gives us a very, 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 very big platform to create something that can truly connect all of these individuals together. So it's no longer a factor of, do I have a bank account? If many people have mobile phones, how can we use that platform to sort of include everybody who has it into the digital economy? And that's what we're doing. You have very few good teachers for the number of kids who need to be taught. And we're thinking, how can we use technology to scale the efforts of a single teacher to reach millions and millions and millions of kids across the country and across the continent? From an outcomes point of view, we're always constantly checking to make sure that the impact that we expect our products to have in society is really having that. We test many of the ideas that we sort of think about. So there are cases where we create a control group, and we also deploy things like A/B testing, just to make sure that whatever it is that we're thinking sort of actually achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves. We're not building this product for non-humans. We're actually building them for humans. And there are ways that humans interact with products. That's how we sort of build the products that we build, taking into consideration the fact that what are humans used to? What is our target audience used to? What are their experiences? What do they know? And then translating that into how we build our product to sort of target them.